Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Taking you behind the curtain. It's the Joan Hamburg Show. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Welcome, everyone, to the Joan Hamburg Show. And I can tell you that everyone at the station, when I said that John Slattery was coming on, was so excited. John is a great actor. He's a director. You know him from so many roles. And a lot of you mentioned your favorite, Roger Sterling Jr. in Mad Men. He got nominated for every award you can imagine with that. He's acted in movies, on television, and has done absolutely incredible things. And he joined the season, turned out to be the final season of The Good Fight. So I'm curious, and welcome to you, John. Did you know it was going to be the final season when they reached out to you?
No, I didn't. I got a call somewhere in the middle of the season from Michelle King. So I took it personally, and I figured I was responsible for tanking the whole thing. But I found out since it wasn't my fault.
No, not your fault. Not your fault at all. But it is interesting because successful show, hot show. They just decided, enough is enough?
I guess. I mean, as stories run their course and it becomes maybe an uphill battle not to repeat yourself. And they've never been afraid to go at issues, political and otherwise. And they're tireless, Michelle and Robert King, that is. And I don't know. I guess I don't know what went into it. I just got a phone call thinking I was being, taken to the woodshed because I'd only done a couple of episodes. And sometimes you get a call to say, listen, you're thinking of it this way, we're thinking of it that way. There are adjustments made in the course of a season of TV. And I kind of figured that was the call. And she said, no, everything's fine. I'm just calling to tell you this is going to be our last season. So
it's which is quite surprising because it's so relevant. I mean, the script is so relevant where it couldn't be if they looked in a crystal ball and knew what we were going through in this country and that how people feel that they can't take anymore. They need relief. And your character is, the doctor who's there providing relief to people and really believes that he can make a difference. So we're sort of sad that it's the last season because we're coming along on this interesting ride, and this ride is not over.
No, it's amazing how relevant it is and how quick they have to turn something around for it because you know how fast those news cycles rotate and become old news and. But I don't know. I guess the big picture of it is how deluded people are and how frustrated and tired they are of things not changing and things staying the same. And that's kind of what Christine's character is suffering from when she comes into my office.
Right, Christine Baranski.
And
the doctor, the good doctor, John Slattery, is helping her out of her misery in many ways. So
by helping, by basically microdosing. It's something akin to a ketamine trip where someone who isn't being helped by conventional therapy comes to my office, and these offices exist. I didn't know much about it before this, but I've read a lot of stuff on microdosing, and it's people are doing it all over the place. And,
and hallucinogenics.
But in a small, but in just to the degree to which it changes your consciousness or elevates mood or lifts you out of depression or a state of of chronic anxiety, or and gives you a little perspective, a little sort of gets you above the clouds to see clearly for a minute. And so, I mean, people are doing it, and that's the reason she comes, because she just feels like she's on a hamster wheel of things not changing, despite how hard she's worked to do just that.
Right. And an interesting part, and when it was offered to you, there were two of you who were the newcomers, with Christine Baranski and Audra McDonald. So, great cast and a great opportunity, especially when you didn't realize, no one knew then that this was going to be the final season, which the audience, don't make this the final season. We need more. We're still involved in this world that is not, needs a little help.
Well, it's happened before, shows that decide to cancel or, quit. People write in or let them know how desperately they want them to stay, and they decide to change their minds. So you never know.
Well, that would be good. And how did you get through the pandemic? Were you working at the time?
I was working right up until the pandemic. In fact, the first person that I knew that got COVID was a producer on a show I was doing in Chicago. And I came back to New York, and my wife and I and her mother and my son, our son, who was in college at the time, and they, made everybody go home, went out to Long Island and basically isolated like everybody else.
Right.
It was stressful. My wife's mother was 85, 86, whatever at the time, and this was, the OG COVID, which was killing people left and right. And so it was pretty stressful. And my wife had it right away, right out of the gate. She got it like day one. And she had it pretty mildly, but, it was very stressful.
Did the rest of you get it, or just your wife?
Just my wife got it. And I got the Omicron later, as did my mother-in-law, and it was fine. She skated right through it. But, we had friends, we lost friends and acquaintances, and had other friends get it very badly. And so if they had gotten that one, it would have been a different story.
No, tough. Did your son end up going back to school?
He did. He graduated last year, yeah.
Oh, you're kidding. Is he involved in theater or in the entertainment
At this point, he's
world?
trying to figure out. No, he's an art musician and an artist, and he has acted in a few things, but he's trying to figure out what he wants to do. He's currently in Germany with some friends, just kind of figuring it all out. Yeah,
well, is he in Berlin?
Yeah, he is.
That's, it's so interesting. Years and years ago, kids would go off to Oregon, to Portland to try to find themselves. Now, I can't tell you how many kids your kids' age I know who go to Berlin. And it's become
to be the
huge,
spot.
Right? It's a huge scene there.
Yeah. He's there with a bunch of friends right now.
Yeah, and probably having a ball.
Seems like it, yeah.
So once you finish this season, The Good Fight, are you going to relax a little or on to the next?
I finished shooting that a while ago. I just finished directing and producing a movie that John Hamm and Tina Fey are the stars of, and I'm trying to sell it to somebody. We shot it during COVID. It was tricky. We shot it in Albuquerque, which was also tricky for a lot of reasons. And it turned out great. We just finished it. It's a comedy about a double murder, but I've just literally finished it, so I'm looking to do something else.
Right, but are you going to wait till you sell it first, or?
No, I mean I'll do something else, and someone else is in charge of selling it. I've done all I can. I've made it, and I've put it out into the world, and now, it's a strange time to be. I mean, who knows who's selling, buying, and how people are viewing movies these days. I mean, it's mostly streaming, I guess, but
I know.
Those grounds are shifting all over the place.
I know. That is the big question.
Yeah.
How are we going to see movies? What's going to happen to movies?
Right.
And the truth is that if there are comedies or thrillers, you need an audience. You need to be in the theater and feel the laughter or the tension around you, and it changes the movie.
It's such a good point because I just saw it. We did a screening in L.A. for distributors, and it's the first time, because of COVID, that I got to see it in a room with 75 people, and it got all the laughs that I had intended. But I have been watching this thing in rooms with 2 people, 3 people. A big group was 6 people because of COVID, and it's completely different. And it really was validating and gratifying to see that. I was like, well, I'm not insane. That I knew that was funny, and but then again, half of the distributors got links, so they'll watch it in their office at work by themselves.
I know it's not
which,
good.
Weird.
I know. And I'm a big comedy movie person, and you just can't see it alone streaming. It just changes the whole personality. But if you're in that business, you've got a lot on your plate to deal with.
And it is what it is. You can't hold out expectations of something that isn't realistic. I kind of threw out the theatrical expectation a while back just because it does, and I'm okay with it. When I went in to make it, I was like, I don't care if somebody watches this on a television by themselves. I'm okay with that. I'd rather they didn't. It would be better in a big dark theater with a group of other people. But you're kidding yourself if you think that's the way it's going to go down. Yeah,
no, we're living in a totally different world. So we have to learn to adjust to it in many different ways. And when you started working, unlike a lot of actors I know, it's like nothing comes easy to anyone, but you started right away getting parts.
Well, I went to New York and I had a bunch of odd jobs, and it took me about a year to get something. I wandered around and worked in a law office, worked in a bakery, worked in a gas station. I was a lousy waiter, all that stuff. And I eventually got some crummy plays. I did a lot of theater. I would go anywhere and audition for anything.
Do it, right.
But, but it then once I started, I worked pretty consistently. Yeah.
In all of them, whether it be film or Broadway or TV, but TV ended up being a really big deal. And how soon in your career did Mad Men come along?
Pretty late. I mean, I was 40, I think, by the time that showed up. So it changed my sort of trajectory a lot because it became so popular, which was great. But that, I'd been around quite a while by the time that showed up.
Working.
Yeah, all the time, plays, movies, done a lot of theater as well, and was fine. And I think I had just done a season of Desperate Housewives, and but Mad Men, excuse me, was certainly the best job I'd had to that point. Probably, one of the things I'll be remembered for, I guess, if I'm remembered at all.
Don't underestimate yourself. That is going to be with you, and as well as other things too. It's just that I don't even think the writers knew, or you always wanted to resonate with an audience, but it hit hard and really resonated with an audience, and people talk about it all the time.
Well, luckily, at the time it kind of came along with the advent of the DVR or being able, or TiVo or whatever, you could capture it, so they didn't have to. If you missed the first season, you could go back and get it, and I think it definitely enhanced its popularity by people being able to get it on demand. And and it's remained popular because of that, which is good because it holds up. It maybe partly due to it's a period piece, but it's really exceptionally well written. And I think they knew exactly what they were doing.
No, it's really good. And at this stage in your career, and you are popular, you've been and are being in major things in every kind of the entertainment world, do you still have to audition, or do you hear about something or your agent calls you? It is
so funny. So funny you say that because I'm dying to audition, but because, I want to do something that I haven't done before. So when you do something that's successful, you get sent a lot of the same stuff, which is fine. But then you get to a point where, okay, now I've just directed this movie. Now my acting career's been on hold for a while between COVID and making this movie. So I'm ready to get out and do something different. But people aren't really, you get to a point, I don't know whether they feel like they're insulting you by asking you to audition or they just don't audition. People put themselves on tape with their phones, which I'm fine with as well.
Deal.
Yeah, but it's so I don't. It's a funny thing. The world has changed in that regard too, where there was a time where to do something that no one expected of you required you to show them that you could do it, and now it's like I don't know. I would relish that opportunity to show someone that I can do something unexpected. I guess everybody feels the same way.
I wonder about that. My daughter-in-law is an actress, and they were out visiting this summer. They live in L.A., and they came out to Long Island, and she was auditioning like crazy through the phone. I thought, well, how? And I certainly wasn't going to say anything, but how do they really know what you can do, even though that's what they're doing? It seems like it's really hard for the actor to... It
is hard for the actor because you have to be the cinematographer. You've got to find somebody to read with you. You've got to do all that stuff that's really not... It's not fair to the actors to do that. But that's just, that's just the way the world has evolved. But being on the other end of it while directing that film, that's how I cast the movie on tape.
Like that,
so it works.
Right?
And you just need an indication that the person is able to make an adjustment. They have an initial take on the part that might be good and promising, and they look right for the part, and they fit into the ensemble the right way. And then you get back in touch with them via whoever the casting director or directly, and you say, look, try it this way, a little slower, a little less apologetic, but blah, 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 whatever the direction, and see if they can make that adjustment. And you don't need it to be of great cinematic quality or of a full production. You're only even in an audition with someone holding pages, you're looking for a mutability, an indication that they can work with you and make changes and take direction and stuff. So it does work. The taping thing works. That's how it, So it's just like anything. It's just you got to find a piece of material that clicks with you and you fit into. So
right. And do you ever feel anxiety about maybe not working again or doing the kind of stuff you really want to do at this point in your career?
I do right now. I do.
You do. But you're in a hot series.
I know, but it's funny, it might be on now, but I finished shooting it months ago and then I've done this other stuff. So you always feel, it ebbs and flows like anything. Your confidence and your ability to sort of believe that it's all going to turn out, even though you've been doing this for 35 years and it's worked out so far. You always get the feeling, oh, this might be it. I guess this is it. Or you're doing something that isn't necessarily the most creatively satisfying thing in order to pay the bills or whatever. But you feel like that. I just turned 60.
That's a mere slip of a youth today.
Right? Yeah, it's right, but not necessarily in show business terms.
No. No,
so,
but...
there's the cause for concern, like everything else, shifts and changes as the days go by. Some days you feel fine about it, other days not so much.
Well, take a breath, because you're here for the long run. John Slattery, one of our really great actors, and you can watch him. He's in his final season of The Good Fight, and we're all looking forward to seeing what's next on the Slattery plate. I'm sure something quite wonderful. All the best to you, John.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
I've enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you again. All the best.
Okay.
I'm Joan Hamburg, and you're listening to WABC. Stay tuned. We have lots more ahead.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.